And today I'm going to be talking about like why the NBA should be scared of the Washington Wizards. Now, if you don't already know and you're new to this channel, I make this type of video every single team in the entire league, so don't just think I'm a Washington Wizards fan and that is the reason why I'm making this video or anything. No, I'm making this video on every single team, like the Nets. Like I made one on the Nets. Making this because I'm a Washington Wizards fan. And now if I do sound kind of weird, kind of like sick or anything, that's because I have like kind of sore throat right now. And so if my voice sounds different or I'm stuttering over words, that could be a reason why. But yeah, now that I got all that out of the way, let's get right into this video. Alright, so my first reason for this video is going to be that they actually got a big man. Now, that is something that even John Wall himself said they needed, it was a pretty big known fact that they did need a big man, because Marcin Gortat was getting old, and he just wasn't really cutting anymore, and John Wall even said in an interview that you need an athletic big man to succeed in this league. They were able to get that in Dwight Howard, this will help them a lot, because last year, they had Marcin Gortat, who only averaged 8.4 points per game, 7.6 rebounds per game, and averaged the 9th least rebounds per game in the entire league, like the entire team averaging 9th least amount of rebounds per game in the entire league, and Marcin Gortat just wasn't getting the job done. But they were able to replace him with Dwight Howard, who had a very better season than Marcin Gortat last year, as he averaged 16.6 points per game, 12.5 rebounds per game, and 1.3 assists per game. And last year, he had a multiple 20 rebound games. Last year, he had multiple games where he had over 20 rebounds or 20 rebounds. But the highlight season was his 30-30 game, where he was able to have 30 rebounds and 32 points in one game, and that is up there with names like Shaq and them. Not many people have ever done that, and I think it was Shaq and Wilt are the only two to do that. I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's still a very solid center in this league, and he will be a huge upgrade over Marcin Gortat, I think. But now my second reason for this video is going to be that they are in the East. Now, you might be like, now how is them being in the East even a reason for them to possibly be scared in the NBA? Well, as y'all know, the East is the weaker of the two conferences. Yeah, the East and the West, you'd much rather be in the East if you're an NBA team. As right now, they only really have 3 elite teams in the Eastern Conference right now, and those 3 teams are the Boston Celtics, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Toronto Raptors. And then after that, it is completely thrown up in the air as to who is going to be able to compete for finals. They have teams like Indiana, Washington, and the Bucks. Also other teams that could be competing for a championship. It is really all in the air, and besides those 3 teams I mentioned in the beginning, all 3 of them are definitely beatable, and Washington can beat any of them, the Bucks can beat any of them, Indiana can beat any of them in a 4-game series, so it's not like either one of them is just running away with the finals this year, going to be able to make the finals over anybody. It's going to be a very, very tight race in my opinion, and I really do want to see who wins, but I think with them being in the East and being one of those teams that can be in the hunt to make the finals, especially that LeBron has left them, I would be expecting them to at least be pretty shocking to a lot of people, and they will be in contention. I do think that the East just isn't that strong. Besides the 3 teams I mentioned in the beginning, the Washington Wizards are probably 4th or 5th best in the East right now. So they have any chance. When you're in top 5 in your conference, you have a chance to make the finals anytime, unless you're in the West, because then you have the Warriors in there. So unless you're in the West, if you're in the East and you're a top 5 team, you have a chance to make it to the finals. But now my third reason for this video is going to be the depth. Now what I mean by this is, obviously you need a good starting 5 to succeed in the league, but you also need a good bench, and they made some pretty good strides in having a good bench. They added some people like Austin Rivers and Jeff Green, who are both very solid role players. They know their role. Austin Rivers is more of a scoring kind of floor general. When he's on the court, he's gonna score, be able to he's just a pretty good scorer. Jeff Green's a good veteran to have on your team. He averaged 10 points per game for the Cleveland Cavaliers last year and was a very solid backup piece for them. And then they also have Kelly Oubre Jr., who for the 3 years that he has been in the league has been very, very productive for the Washington Wizards at that backup role, as he's been in the league for 3 years, and he has improved every year by a pretty good margin, as last year he was able to improve his points per game by 6, his rebounds per game by 1.3, and he had huge increases in his shooting percentage, as he upped his 3-point percentage by 6%, and his free throw percentage by 7%, so he is making good strides to be a very, very good backup piece, maybe even a starter one day in this league, and I could definitely see Kelly Oubre becoming becoming either a starter on the Washington Wizards or a six-man for sure, and a potential six-man of the year candidate one day, because I'm pretty sure last year he averaged around 12 points per game. So I mean, if he's able to go next year and increase that even by 2, then he's averaging 14, he keeps increasing it, eventually he's going to get up there around 18 to 20 point per game. That's probably where he's going to cap out, and that is a very, very good asset to have off your bench. And I mean, even with Austin Rivers and having Jeff Green, that's an 8-man deep rotation, and that's pretty much all most teams need to make it to the NBA Finals. So, I mean, I do think they could definitely make the NBA Finals, but I don't know if they can beat Boston. I think they can beat Toronto, and I do think that they can beat Philly, but I'm not sure if they would be able to beat Boston. Boston's just like very, very talented. Now, they're not talented to the point to where you can't beat them, but they're talented to the point where it's like, it's kind of iffy, because I mean, Kyrie and Gordon Hayward are a very good duo. Jason Tatum's showing that he's be a beast of a trio. Al Horford's still a beast at that center position, can spread the court very well. Jaylen Brown, Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart. I mean, they have a lot of good players off their bench and not starting. They have a lot of players off their bench that could be starting for them. So I mean, it's very iffy, but I think Washington, if they are somehow to get rid of Boston or Boston suffers some injuries, I think they would be legit finals contenders. Now, I don't think they could win the finals just because of the Warriors. I don't think anybody in the league can compete with the Warriors, but I do definitely think the Washington Wizards could end up being contenders. And I mean, I do think that they could be a very scary team in the league, which is why I made this video. I mean, let's just recap what I said before I do end off the video. They got a big man, Dwight Howard, replace Marcin Gortat, which will be very, very big for them, which also makes John Wall happy to make him want to stay even longer. They're in the East. The East is a weaker division than the West, and they just have a more likely chance because they are a top 5 team in the East. If they're in the West, they'd be fighting for a playoff spot most likely. And then my last reason was their depth. They were able to add people like Austin Rivers, Jeff Green. They have another guy, Kelly Oubre Jr., plus other pieces that are very solid for them off the bench. So I mean, overall, I think they could be a pretty scary team in the East next year. But I want to hear all your thoughts in the comments below as well. Do you think they could be scary? What team do you want to see me make this type of video on next? What type of videos do you want to see me make on this channel? If you are new around here, the like button and subscribe button, it would literally mean the world to me. Y'all been showing so much support on this video, and I can't thank y'all enough. I mean, like, y'all are literally just blessing me every single day with, like, I don't know, just every video y'all been showing tons of support with, and y'all just been blessing me every single day. And like, again, I said sorry. I mean, if I sound like I was kind of rushing through this video, or like my throat just doesn't sound right, or I'm not as happy as I usually am in a beat, well, that's because my throat is killing me, and I do apologize for that. And if I miss a couple uploads, that is most likely why. I'm gonna try to get my throat to like the point to where I can actually be up and beat and make like good high quality videos for you. So if I do miss any videos, just know that that is the reason. I'm going to try not to, but I mean, if my throat's killing me so bad tomorrow, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to, because I don't want to sacrifice my voice for one video, when if I do that, then I might be sacrificing 4 videos, or like however videos ahead. So I want to sacrifice 1 to save more like videos that go ahead, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, just know that's why. But like I said, that's going to be the first video, so I want y'all to have a blessed day, because I had a blessed day, so y'all need to have a blessed day. See you tomorrow's video. Goodbye.